Captain Alex Rayner had never expected his quiet night aboard the research vessel Aurora to end like this. The hum of the ship's engines filled his cabin, a familiar white noise that usually helped him unwind after a long day of monitoring remote planetary systems. He stretched, loosening his shoulders, and picked up a data pad, scrolling through reports from the uncharted sectors he had been surveying. His life had been orderly, predictable. Days merged into nights, punctuated only by brief communications with the Galactic Council and the occasional anomaly report. That peace was shattered the instant she walked in. The door to his cabin hissed open, and a figure stepped through. At first he thought it might be a malfunction, a glitch in the ship's AI or a holographic display. But there she was, real, present, and utterly impossible to ignore. Her skin shimmered faintly, shifting in hues he could not name, colors that did not exist in the human spectrum. Her eyes, large and striking, seemed to change with every subtle movement, reflecting emotions that Alex couldn't immediately read. She walked confidently, her posture fluid, graceful, like a predator surveying its surroundings. "Captain Alex Rayner," she said, her voice calm but commanding, a strange mix of amusement and urgency. "One bed, no rules." Alex froze, his mind racing. He blinked, wondering if he had finally gone insane after months of isolation in deep space. "Excuse me," he said, finally finding his voice. What do you mean, no rules?" She smiled faintly, an expression that seemed both inviting and unreadable. "I said what I said. One bed, no rules." Before he could respond, the ship's alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the cabin as a warning tone echoed sharply. Alex's heart jumped. He dashed to the control panel, quickly scanning the sensors. The display showed an object rapidly approaching the vessel, an alien probe, sleek, angular, and unlike anything he had seen before. Its design suggested intelligence, precision, and most disturbingly, hostility. The woman moved with him toward the console, her movements smooth and deliberate. Alex couldn't explain why, but he found himself stepping aside as she manipulated the controls with expertise. "It's disabling your shields," she said, almost as an observation, not a warning. "You need to redirect the power flow to the secondary emitters. Follow me." He hesitated for a moment, conflicted by both the immediate danger and the strangeness of her presence. But he had no choice. The probe was closing in, and the ship's defensive systems were failing. He copied her actions, routing energy to the secondary shields, diverting power from non-essential systems. The lights flickered, and for a terrifying moment he thought they would be destroyed. Then the shield stabilized, a soft hum replacing the alarms. The probe stalled, its energy readings dropping as if it had been anticipating some countermeasure. Alex exhaled sharply, glancing at the woman. "Who are you?" he demanded. "How do you know how to operate this ship?" She tilted her head, her eyes glinting. "I know many things. Some of them you might call secrets." She paused, her gaze scanning the approaching probe. "And some of them are about survival. You seem adaptable. That's why I came to you." "Adaptable," he echoed, still trying to recover from both the near-death experience and her audacity. "I don't understand." "Not yet," she said, with a hint of a smile. "There's time. For now, we need to deal with this." The probe regained motion, darting toward the ship with unexpected speed. Alex and the woman worked together seamlessly, rerouting power, activating countermeasures, and using evasive maneuvers. Her instincts were uncanny. She anticipated the probe's moves, predicting its attacks before the sensors even registered them. In the chaos, Alex began to realize that she was not just knowledgeable, she was extraordinary, far beyond any alien or human he had encountered. After what felt like hours but was only minutes, the probe finally disengaged, retreating into the darkness of space. The alarm ceased, leaving the cabin in an uneasy silence. Alex leaned against the console, catching his breath. His mind was racing with questions, but before he could voice them, the woman turned to him. "I am Lyria," she said simply, as if that answered everything. "And now, Captain, we need to talk." Alex stared at her. Lyria was enigmatic both in appearance and in purpose. Her presence alone challenged every rule he had followed as a human navigating the vast expanse of space. "Talk about what?" he asked cautiously. "About why I came to you," she replied, her voice steady. "About what is coming. About why you are the only human I trust for what must happen next." He frowned, trying to grasp the magnitude of her words. "The only human you trust? I don't even know you. Why me?" She looked at him, her gaze piercing yet oddly reassuring. "Because humans have qualities other species lack. Courage, ingenuity, adaptability. You may not realize it, but in the moments that truly matter, you make choices others cannot. I need someone who can survive when the odds are against them." Alex felt a strange mix of fear, curiosity, and admiration. He had always believed humans were resourceful, but to hear it from an alien with such an aura of power made him see himself in a new light. "And what happens if I refuse?" he asked, half joking, half serious. Lyria's smile was faint but firm. "Then the galaxy may face consequences it cannot survive. You will not refuse, Captain, not truly. Your choices are already part of this path." He rubbed his face, trying to focus. Lyria's presence was overwhelming, her confidence disarming, yet he recognized the urgency in her eyes. Whatever her story, whatever her intentions, the universe had just grown far more complicated. And he would have to act quickly to understand the full extent of the danger. The next hours were a blur of strategy and discussion. Lyria explained fragments of her background. She had escaped from a council of alien civilizations that sought to capture her. They viewed her as a threat because she possessed knowledge and abilities that could disrupt the delicate balance of galactic power. She had tracked the rogue probe which had been sent to intercept her, leading her to Aurora. Alex listened, skeptical but attentive. He had faced unexpected situations before, but this was unprecedented. Lyria's intelligence, her composure under pressure, and her sheer capability made him reassess what he knew about the universe and about humanity's place in it. He realized that his role was no longer passive observation. He was now a participant in something much larger than routine surveys or council directives. As the night deepened aboard the ship, Alex and Lyria worked to stabilize the vessel and assess potential threats. The probe's retreat was temporary. He could feel it in the data streams. Something more significant was coming. Lyria's presence, once startling and confusing, began to feel necessary. There was an unspoken understanding between them. Survival would require trust, even if it was cautious and hesitant at first. By the time the ship systems were secure, Alex was exhausted, but his mind was racing with thoughts of the woman who had appeared so suddenly in his life. Lyria, sitting calmly across the cabin, seemed equally focused, her eyes scanning data, occasionally flicking to him as if reading his thoughts. He realized that despite the audacity of her initial words, despite the chaos that had erupted with her arrival, she was no ordinary alien. She was extraordinary, and her arrival had changed everything. He sank into his chair, staring at the viewport as stars streaked past. In the vast emptiness of space, he had always felt in control, prepared for anything. But now, with Lyria aboard and an unknown threat looming, he understood something profound. The universe was far bigger, far stranger, and far more dangerous than he had imagined. And somehow he felt ready, not just to face the danger but to rise to it, guided by both human ingenuity and the mysterious alien who had walked in and said, "One bed, no rules." The Aurora drifted quietly through the dark expanse of space, but the calm was deceptive. Alex could feel the tension in every corner of the ship. Lyria moved through the cabin with quiet grace, her hands brushing over control panels, checking data streams, adjusting power outputs, as if the ship were an extension of herself. Alex watched, still amazed at her knowledge. She seemed to understand human technology as easily as her own alien systems, blending instinct with skill. "Captain," she said softly, her eyes fixed on the main display, "we are not safe yet. The probe was only a scout. Others will come more dangerous than that one." Alex frowned, leaning over her shoulder. "How do you know that?" She didn't look at him as she answered. "Because I have been hunted before. They track everything I do. They will not stop until they find me, or destroy anyone helping me." He swallowed hard, feeling the weight of responsibility settle over him. The thought of alien mercenaries, beings far more advanced than humans, descending upon the Aurora was terrifying. And yet he felt something else too, determination. Humanity had survived worse, adapted faster, and thrived against odds others thought impossible. He straightened, his gaze meeting hers. "Then we fight," he said simply. Lyria finally looked at him, her eyes narrowing in appraisal. "I expected you to hesitate," she said, "but you are correct. We fight." The next few hours were a blur of preparation. Alex rerouted power to defensive systems, reinforced shields, and ran simulations for potential attacks. Lyria provided insight into alien tactics, anticipating movements and weaknesses with a precision he had never seen. Together, they worked in silence, the bond forming without words, a silent agreement that survival depended on trust. As they finished the final adjustments, the ship's sensors lit up with activity. Multiple objects were approaching at high velocity. Alien ships, sleek and black, armed with energy weapons capable of piercing even the strongest human shields. Alex's heart pounded, but he kept his focus. This was what they had prepared for. The first ship fired, sending a pulse of energy that rocked the Aurora. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and Alex gritted his teeth, manually stabilizing the shields. Lyria moved beside him, her hands on the controls, her movements calm and precise. "Aim at the engines," she instructed. "Disable them. Don't waste energy on weapons yet." Alex followed her directions, targeting the alien ship's propulsion systems. One by one, the attackers slowed, their coordinated assault faltering. But more kept coming, faster and more determined. He realized that brute force alone would not win this battle. They needed strategy, ingenuity, qualities humans excelled at. "Captain," Lyria said, her voice sharp with urgency, "you must leave the ship temporarily. I can create a diversion, but you need to disable the external arrays. It's risky." Alex hesitated, knowing that stepping outside the ship without full protection was dangerous. But he saw the determination in her eyes, and he knew there was no choice. "I'm ready," he said. She guided him to the airlock, giving quick instructions. "You have 20 minutes. Use the repair thrusters to move outside. The energy pulse I create will mask your movement." He activated the suit, stepping into the small chamber. The airlock sealed, and the external door hissed open. The black void of space stretched before him, punctuated by the approaching alien vessels. He maneuvered carefully, using the thrusters to glide toward the external arrays, his every movement calculated. Meanwhile, inside the ship, Lyria manipulated the controls with effortless skill. She activated the ship's cloaking systems partially, creating a false energy signature that confused the enemy ships. Pulses of light and interference rippled outward, drawing attention away from Alex's position. He could see the alien ships adjusting their course, their sensors scrambled by her diversion. Alex reached the arrays, his hands working quickly to disable them. Sparks flew as he cut wires, rerouted energy, and synchronized the shutdown with the ship's power grid. Every second felt like an eternity. Finally, the arrays powered down, leaving the alien ships momentarily blind to the Aurora's systems. "Good work," Lyria's voice crackled in his helmet. "Return immediately." He reversed course, using the thrusters to glide back toward the airlock. One of the alien ships had realized the ruse and fired a pulse toward him. Alex twisted and dodged, narrowly avoiding destruction. Heart pounding, he reached the airlock, sealing the door behind him. Inside, he gasped for breath, shaking from adrenaline. Lyria met his gaze, her expression unreadable for a moment. Then she smiled faintly. Not bad, human, not bad at all. Alex felt a mix of relief and awe. Her praise was rare and it carried weight. He realized that survival wasn't just about skill, it was about courage, trust, and the ability to think clearly under pressure. For the next few hours, they assessed the damage to the ship and prepared for the next threat. Lyria revealed more about herself in fragments, explaining that her species had been part of a galactic council for centuries, overseeing the balance of power between civilizations. She had learned secrets that could destabilize that balance, making her a target. The intelligence she carried was not just valuable, it was critical for the survival of countless worlds. Alex listened, absorbing every word. He began to understand why she had sought him out. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but they were also capable of incredible ingenuity. His ability to adapt, to make choices under extreme conditions, made him a rare ally in a galaxy dominated by advanced civilizations. As the ship floated through space, patched but still vulnerable, Alex noticed Lyria studying him. Her expression was curious, almost as if she were measuring his potential. "Do you know why I came to you, Captain?" she asked. He shook his head. "I have my suspicions, but you've only just begun to explain." "It is simple," she said. "I needed someone who could survive, who could act when others would hesitate. Humans have a unique strength. I chose you because I believe you can help me, not because of skill alone, but because of what humans can do when pushed to their limits." Alex felt a sense of pride mixed with humility. He had always thought of himself as capable, but hearing it from someone like Lyria made him see himself differently. He realized that the galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders beyond imagination, and humans had a role to play that no one else could. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up movement on a nearby planet. Large, dark forms moved across the surface, leaving trails of energy that suggested technology far beyond human capabilities. Lyria's expression darkened. "They are closing in," she said. "We cannot outrun them for long. We must land. Repairs, resources, and planning, all of it must happen on the ground." Alex nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "Where do we land?" She pointed to a rocky, uncharted planet. "There. It is dangerous, but it is unclaimed. We will have space to operate, and the terrain may slow them down." The descent was tense. The aurora shook violently as it entered the planet's atmosphere, winds and gravity pulling at the ship. Alex focused on the controls, following Lyria's precise instructions. She guided him through every maneuver, her voice calm and confident, a steady anchor in the chaos. Finally, the ship touched down on the rocky surface. Dust and debris swirled around them, but the vessel remained intact. They quickly sealed the airlocks and began assessing the immediate environment. The planet was harsh, its terrain jagged and unwelcoming. Strange flora, bioluminescent and alien, glowed faintly in the dim light. The air was breathable but carried a faint metallic scent, suggesting unusual chemical composition. Lyria began scanning the area, her instruments analyzing energy readings and local life forms. "We are safe for now," she said. "But they will find us if we remain visible for long. We must move carefully." Alex followed her lead, noting her careful observations and strategic planning. He realized that survival would require more than courage. It would require thinking, adaptation, and trust. Together, they began setting up temporary shelters and defenses, using both human ingenuity and Lyria's advanced technology. As night fell, Alex sat outside the ship, staring at the alien landscape. He thought about how his life had changed in a single day. A mysterious alien had walked into his cabin, said something cryptic, and now he was on an uncharted planet, preparing to defend against forces far beyond human capability. And yet, he felt ready. Not because he had all the answers, but because he understood something essential. Humans could rise to the challenge, adapt, and survive, even against overwhelming odds. Lyria joined him, standing silently as he observed the horizon. "You are stronger than you think, Captain," she said finally. Alex looked at her, seeing both the gravity of their situation and the subtle warmth in her tone. "I'm starting to understand," he replied. "Maybe that's why you came to me. Maybe humans are capable of more than we even realize." She nodded, her eyes reflecting the dim light of the planet's twin moons. "Exactly, and together we will show them what humans can do." The night stretched on, quiet except for the distant sounds of the alien wilderness. For the first time, Alex felt a mix of fear and excitement. The challenges ahead were immense, but so were the possibilities. And with Lyria at his side, he began to realize that survival was only the beginning of a much larger story, one that would test every limit and reveal the true strength of humanity in a galaxy full of wonders. The alien planet was harsh, jagged rocks stretching as far as the eye could see, strange vegetation glowing faintly in colors Alex could not name. Despite the beauty, danger was everywhere. The atmosphere carried a faint metallic scent, and the readings on the scanner indicated intermittent energy surges. Lyria moved among the rocks with confidence, her eyes scanning the horizon and sensors in her hands detecting any movement. Alex followed closely, learning from her calm focus. He realized that surviving here would require more than courage. It would require thinking, adapting, and moving as a team. "We need shelter," Lyria said, pointing toward a small canyon with overhanging rocks. "It will give us cover and reduce the risk of detection." Alex helped carry supplies from the Aurora, improvising with alien materials and human ingenuity. Together, they assembled a temporary base, shields and camouflage blending it with the landscape. Every rock, every crevice was considered. Lyria instructed him in alien survival techniques, and Alex's human instincts complemented her advanced knowledge. He began to see why she had chosen him. Humans could improvise under pressure, make decisions quickly, and adapt when no plan existed. As night fell, strange noises echoed from the surrounding wilderness. Creatures moved unseen, their movements swift and unpredictable. Alex tightened his grip on his handheld pulse weapon, scanning the shadows. Lyria remained calm, observing the same terrain. "Most are harmless," she said, "but some can detect life forms through energy signatures. We must remain cautious." Hours passed. The duo remained vigilant, taking turns monitoring the perimeter while the other rested briefly. Alex began to understand Lyria's methods, not just survival, but preparation for what was coming. The alien council would not leave her be. They would send advanced units, capable of tracking and neutralizing anyone assisting her. By dawn, Alex had learned to move silently, anticipate threats, and rely on both human ingenuity and Lyria's guidance. Their partnership was no longer just survival, it was symbiosis. Each challenge they faced together strengthened their bond and mutual respect. Lyria approached him as he checked the sensors. "We have company," she said, her voice steady but urgent. "They are close. They have scanners and weapons capable of destroying our defenses. We must act quickly." Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. "What do we do?" "We split into two groups. I will create a decoy using the ship's energy projection system. You will move to the higher ground and prepare a tactical strike." He nodded, trusting her judgment. "Understood." The operation began. Lyria activated the decoy, projecting false energy readings that drew the alien forces toward her position. Sparks and light cascaded across the rocks as the attackers responded, their ships hovering above, scanning and firing intermittently. Alex moved carefully to the higher ground, taking advantage of cover, studying the enemy's formations. He realized that their approach was predictable, relying on technology rather than adaptability, something humans excelled at. Using calculated movements, Alex set traps with makeshift devices powered by both human engineering and Lyria's technology. Energy nets, reflective panels, and temporary EMP bursts created chaos among the approaching forces. The alien units struggled to maintain formation, their systems disrupted. Lyria's decoy drew fire and attention, allowing Alex to coordinate countermeasures with precision. Minutes stretched into hours as they fought, their synergy growing. Alex's human intuition anticipated enemy movements, while Lyria's advanced knowledge guided strategy. Together, they neutralized the threat without direct confrontation, using misdirection, sabotage, and clever tactics. By the time the Alien Council units retreated, Alex and Lyria were exhausted but victorious. They returned to the temporary shelter, the adrenaline slowly ebbing. Alex looked at Lyria, realizing how much he had learned, not just about survival but about trust, partnership, and the hidden strengths of humanity. "You didn't need me," he said quietly. She shook her head. "I did." Humans are not just survivors, they are problem solvers, innovators, and fearless when necessary. You made the difference. Alex felt pride mixed with humility. He understood that while her technology and abilities were extraordinary, it was his adaptability and courage that had ensured success. Lyria's respect was different from admiration. It acknowledged humans as equals in capability, in ingenuity. Over the next few days, they worked to repair the Aurora, using the alien planet's resources and Lyria's advanced tools. Alex observed her closely, learning more about her species, their technologies, and the stakes involved. Lyria shared fragments of intelligence, political factions within the galaxy, the delicate balance of power, and the potential catastrophe if her knowledge fell into the wrong hands. Alex absorbed it all, realizing the enormity of their mission. Humanity had been underestimated, yet here he was, actively shaping events on a galactic scale. As the repairs progressed, Lyria allowed herself rare moments of reflection. "I chose you because humans are unpredictable," she said one evening, watching the twin moons of the planet rise. "Your species can surprise others in ways technology cannot anticipate. That is why we survive, why we endure." Alex smiled faintly. "I didn't think humans had much of a role in galactic politics." Lyria looked at him, her gaze sharp. "You have no idea. You may be primitive compared to some species, but you have a spark. That spark changes everything. It allows you to act where others hesitate, to create solutions where others see none." Their conversation was interrupted by an unexpected alert. Another wave of alien units approached, more advanced and more cautious than the previous attack. Alex's heart raced, but he felt ready. They had learned, adapted, and survived before. They could do it again. The battle began with a calculated strike. Alex led from the front, setting traps and using terrain to their advantage. Lyria coordinated remotely, projecting energy diversions and controlling systems with precision. The enemy forces were methodical, but Alex and Lyria were unpredictable, combining human ingenuity and alien technology. Hours of tension and careful maneuvering passed. Each success built their confidence. Each setback was met with immediate adaptation. Finally, the remaining enemy forces retreated, unable to contend with the combined strategy and improvisation. Alex collapsed against a rock, breathing heavily, while Lyria approached him with measured steps. "You did it," she said, her voice a mixture of relief and respect. "Together we did it." Alex looked at her, realizing the depth of their achievement. Not just survival, but the demonstration of human potential. His species could rise to challenges, overcome superior technology, and adapt to threats beyond imagination. Lyria's presence had revealed what humans could accomplish under pressure, what he had accomplished himself. As night fell over the alien landscape, Alex and Lyria sat together, watching the stars. The galaxy was vast, full of danger and intrigue, yet full of possibility. Humanity had a place in it, a role that could not be ignored. And together, they had proven that courage, intelligence, and adaptability could alter the course of events even on a galactic scale. Lyria finally broke the silence. The Council will not stop. They will continue to hunt me. But now, with your help, we can prepare, adapt, and survive, and perhaps change the future. Alex nodded, feeling the weight and the potential of their journey. Then we face it together, he said. She smiled faintly, a rare gesture of warmth. Yes, together. That is how humans survive. That is how they thrive. The twin moons reflected on the jagged terrain, the ship repaired and ready. For the first time, Alex understood the full meaning of her initial words. What had seemed provocative was, in truth, a test of resilience, courage, and adaptability. Humanity had risen to the occasion, and together they had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. In the vast silence of the alien planet, Alex and Lyria looked toward the stars, knowing that the future held both danger and opportunity. And in that moment, he realized something profound. Humans, with their ingenuity and courage, were capable of extraordinary feats. In a universe of advanced civilizations and unknown threats, they could stand tall, adapt, and survive. And perhaps, with the right partner and the right challenge, they could even shape the fate of the galaxy.